Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. The 50-year-old man accused of stabbing his girlfriend to death in Pretoria has been remanded in custody until his court appearance on Wednesday next week. Clayton Andrews, he was arrested on Monday in connection with the murder of 42-year-old Evelyn de Kok. During his appearance in the Pretoria Magistrate's court yesterday, the state said there was a strong case and there were witnesses who had linked Andrews to the murder. Our reporter, Patricia Visagie, is visiting the victim's family in Eersterus outside Pretoria. She also speaks with a community activist as well as Themba Masango from lobby group Not in My Name. Let's go to Patricia now in Eersterus. Patricia, a very good morning to you. What's the family saying this morning?
Good morning, Desiree, and good morning to our viewers. As you said rightfully there, we are back in Eesterus. We're here to have a deeper conversation with, in particular, the young men in the area. The young men who we saw joined the women in the community when they staged that protest, of course, in solidarity with Evelyn de Kok's family. The young men who have taken the bacon and to run with this, saying that they wanted to help with the situation. And you would understand that men across the country, they are the ones who stand accused of committing these crimes. They are the ones who stand accused of raping women and, of course, killing women, as we have seen with the case of Evelyn de Kok. So we are joined here by the activists in the community. You have Themba Masango here from Not in My Name, and there you can see young men from the community who are also adding their voice and to say, let's have an open and deep discussion about the scourge of gender-based violence in the country, something that has, I think, put gripping fear in the minds and hearts of many women, young and old, who are saying that they're fearing for their lives. But we can't just sit idle. We need to talk about this and find solutions. You also heard the president yesterday addressing the nation, also expressing shock and concern and saying that this needs to end and we need to find solutions and we need to get to the root of this particular problem. So let's hear from Ravel Harris. He's the one who actually stood at the helm of organizing and really mobilizing the community the other day to, come together and stand in solidarity with Evelyn de Kok, but also just look at the deeper problem that engulfs the community. Ravel, it is a problem. It is beyond the life and, the trauma that Evelyn de Kok's family suffered. It's an ongoing scourge. We've been talking about this for years. As activists who work with this, where would you say does the problem lie?
For me, I personally think that the problem lies with how we raise our boys. We need to instill proper values into young boys to teach them how to treat a woman. We tell women, and women are raised by their parents to say, be a good wife to your husband. But what about being a good husband to your wife? It starts with in the household to instill proper values into young boys.
Now, of course, Evelyn de Kok's family is not here.
Yes.
We understand that they, had other responsibilities,
yes.
But they have entrusted you to carry their message.
They're calling for justice. They really want justice for the gruesome murder of Evelyn de Kok. To be stabbed 19 times with a knife and a scissor, and that is bad. That is uncalled for, and he needs to suffer the way she suffered. He needs to be dealt with.
And talking about stabbing somebody 19 times and also cutting them with a scissor, that paints a very, very aggressive and gruesome picture.
It surely does. And I mean, to stab someone once, twice, but 19 times, that is not acceptable at all.
And Themba here, you were at court yesterday. We saw Clayton Andrews, of course, making his first brief appearance in court. You were very firm about the issue of bail. Just again, take us through why, as activists, do you feel so strongly that perpetrators of gender-based violence should not be given bail?
For the very exact reason that this person did not show any form of remorse or any form of humanity when he went out and actually premeditated the killing of Evelyn and stabbing her 19 times. Now, such a person does not have a place in the community. Such a person clearly shows you that they don't even feel a sense of belonging to any part of the community. So if that person is going to go out and get bail, what trauma is happening to the family? Two, he may be a flight risk and never come back and face justice again. Three, the community cannot guarantee the safety of such a person when they are out there, because people are outraged and want to make sure that justice is served. And for somebody to go and stab and kill somebody in such a gruesome and vile manner, in fact, we shouldn't even be talking bail right now. We should be talking things about getting the death penalty back on the table and saying that such people, because they're unrepentant, it's people who, we know that the prison system won't even change them because they are clear murderers, and their misogynistic ideals run so deep in them.
I just want to come to the issue of the Constitution. When we make those calls, people will often say, but you're going against the realm of the law. The Constitution does protect his human rights as well as a perpetrator. How do we then find that fine balance?
100%, and that's what activism is all about, to be able to see flaws within our Constitution, to see flaws within our judiciary system, to say, listen, we've tried, we've marched, we've held pickets, we've held summits, but there is a certain grain of men where it is even scientifically proven that these people cannot be rehabilitated. Should they sit in prison on taxpayers' money for 400 years? So we should be able to move the idea and let the powers that be decide to say specifically on issues such as these, on the type of murders and killings. We're not saying a blanket murdering, death sentence, but we are saying that for specific issues like this, hanging a woman on a tree, stabbing her 19 times, a child going to a post office and being murdered there, a 3-month-old baby being raped and killed, are these the type of people that we even want in our prison system, where we pay taxes for them? If we're calling for action, let's call for action at the highest part. That's why we've got a constitution and we can debate these issues.
Ravel, just coming back to you, many would, I think, agree that Evelyn's death should not be in vain. Mm-hmm. We should use her as a symbol to drive a message and also to lobby the community and, advocate for that mindset change that we're all calling for. Here in Eersterus, if you can maybe just, paint a picture of the social constructs that are actually at the root of these problems.
Poverty. People don't have jobs. People are not looked after. Social grants and that it's not helping people a lot. Alcoholism is rife in this community as well. Drugs in this community is rife. So Evelyn's death should never be in vain. But before her, there were many women in this community that was killed by their partners, by their sisters, by their brothers, by their fathers. We can't keep quiet about it. So that is why we have chosen as young men to stand up.
Just in short, we're running out of time. I think we now have about 2 minutes or less. Themba, women have made it very clear that they've talked enough, they've cried enough, they have lobbied enough, they've mobilized enough. They're practically saying enough is enough. They're saying we've had it. You've heard the president yesterday. Do you feel that there's enough political will to drive these messages into the consciousness of our communities and really make sure that we get that mindset change from the ground level up?
Unfortunately not. We need to get the message stronger out there, and it starts with us men. Women don't rape themselves. Women don't kill themselves. It's going to take us to call one another out. It's going to take us to call our uncles, our fathers. It's going to take us to break our own family relationships when we see misogyny and patriarchy rise there, and speak up against it and open cases against these people and say that we are not going to allow this issue to happen anymore. We can't speak on behalf of women, but we can speak against any injustice that is happening in any community, in any place, and we need to take the fight to the perpetrators.
Just in short, in closing, people have also complained that people are silent. They don't talk about these things. They don't come forward. They come forward when it's too late. How do we tackle that issue?
You know, I would say approach any one of us from Eesterus especially. We are young men here wanting to help, wanting to support, so don't be scared. Come forward, speak to us, we can find a way forward.
The issue of culture, how does it play a role?
It's not an excuse. It's definitely there. Our cultures are ingrained in masculinity and patriarchy, and we are saying that we need to be able to teach the next generation to understand that if you've got girls and boys can also wash the dishes at home and clean up at home. It's not about saying girls must dress right, it's about saying boys must think right as well.
All right, thank you so much. You can hear the conversations coming from men who are part of the South African society. These are men who have already identified the problem, and they want to help other men to also change their minds, to change their cultural beliefs, their religious beliefs, and really just penetrate the social constructs that are at the root of gender-based violence and femicide and other issues of abuse and rape. And that is the only way these men are saying we can actually find a way to put a stop and a total end to the scourge of gender-based violence across the length and breadth of South Africa. We'll come back a little bit later in the program again to speak to the other men who are also part of this conversation and hear what are their experiences and what are their inputs. For now, let's give it back to you in studio.
Thank you so much, Patricia. And remember that question we're asking you on the program today: what is the role of silence in perpetuating gender-based violence in our society? Let us know at the agenda _ SABC. Let's take a break.